And again, tonight, sundown, is the new year. So happy new year to all the brothers and sisters. We don't deal with the new year according to the moon because you don't institute the real time of months through the moon. The moon gives you 354 days out of a year, which comes in 10 days early. You must deal with the new months according to Sabbaths, not according to the course of the moon. The moon cycle is off course with the calculation of a 364 day cycle. All right. So tonight, sundown, is when the heavens, along with the earth, acknowledge the time of the new year. You can acknowledge the time of the new year because the last day of the year, which was yesterday, it was equal parts night, equal parts day. That's the calculation. That's the last day. When the sun go down, will be on the first day of the year. All right, just wanted to make that clear. All right, so I'll answer a few questions. Then after that, we wish you Godspeed and hope you all have a great holy day. And you all are invited with Elder Gabar and the elders within the Gathering of Christ Church in your respective areas to come together for the Passover. Okay, the Passover date
should be March 28th.
March 28th, sundown. All right. The Passover every year is on a Sabbath. The second week or the 14th day of the new year. Every year, the Passover falls on a Sabbath. All right. So let me answer a few questions before we wish you all Godspeed and have you enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. Let me pause this here. Let me pull this closer so I can actually see some of these questions here. All right. Let's see. What you have there, lawyer? Can you see here?
It says, so in the beginning, when the entire earth was under one tongue, under Nimrod, which was the Phoenician Hebrew tongue, Shem and his family kept the tongue and kept his tongue, and the nations a different tongue.
Yes, you have to realize because Shem's family was not participating in this, the angels did not confound Shem's family's tongue. So that was the original language. When you look at the word Eber, Hebrew actually comes from the word Eber or Ebrite. Okay? So when the time of the flood, it was Peleg, which means division, which means that was the time in which Eber's families kept the tongue and the rest of the nation's tongues were split. So when you look at the word Hebrew, it doesn't mean to cross over. It's the language that continued. They'll make you believe that Hebrew means one to cross over. It have nothing to do with that. It's the language that continued from Eber. You getting something there? Mm-hmm. Okay, let me know when you have it there. While you're getting that, I'm going to answer this question here, lawyer. All right. Shalom, elders. Is this why some musical artists may fall off all of a sudden because they don't want to accept these things? Some of them fall off in the business because it's unbearable. It's just unbearable. You understand? To sustain that type of lifestyle of being controlled by demonic forces just can be too much. Some just operate all the way. That's why they've condensed the artists that they're using to control our children and the youth down to a controllable number. These are they who have initiated their spirit and have actually come all the way over there to the dark side. See, and so what's going on here is that they only use a few artists now because they can't control so many people. They only use a few. You're going to keep on seeing them over and over again. You're going to see Shakira. You're going to see Rihanna. You're going to see the same people over and over and over again because there's only a few that they can utilize. Beyonce, Jay-Z, that are initiated into this new age control and demoralization of society. What you have there?
This is the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, Appendix 1, Chapter 8, and I'll start at verse 4. It says, "And do not forget the Lord your God, the God of your fathers, who was chosen by our father Abraham when the nations were divided in the time of Peleg. For at that time the Lord, blessed be he, came down from his highest heavens and brought with him 70 ministering angels, Michael at their head. He commanded them to teach the 70 families which sprang from the loins of Noah 70 languages. Forthwith the angels descended and did according to the command of their Creator. But the holy language, the Hebrew language, remained only in the house of Shem and Eber, and in the house of Abraham our father, who was one of their descendants."
More proof that Hebrew was the original language and is the original language. What's the next one here? I notice.
It says, I noticed that Isaiah 42 and 8 is Yahweh is my name, and not Ahiah, Ashar Ahiah.
Well, you notice that because the Masoretes injected their God into our records. You're going to notice Yahweh through all of the Old Testament. But when you break down Yahweh, it's the God of mischief and wickedness. Hova or Hawa is mischief, ruin, or fallen one. So if you know the language, you'll know that those who had their hand in our record injected the name. That's why it says, I am. You understand? And that's why in Exodus 3, it's clear that he told Moses to tell the people, I am have sent me unto you. That's crystal clear. Now, there's no one out there who may disagree that knows the Hebrew that have read that will say that the Most High didn't say, I am. Okay? So when Moses asked his name, he said, I am. He didn't say Yahweh. So they'll agree that the Most High said that, but then come back and say, well, but we are supposed to say this. Okay? So let's make this crystal clear. We're not opening this up for a debate about the Most High's name. If someone wants to believe it's Yahweh or Jehovah, we go with it. Go for what you know. But we're just telling you that when you go where Moses asked the Most High's name, he gives it to you in Hebrew. All right? Every other place is the Tetragrammaton because the serpent people, Satan's people, injected Satan's name so that Satan can be acknowledged and worshipped over the Most High. All right? What's next?
Someone says, what's your opinion about the book of Nicodemus?
The book of Nicodemus, the original translation of the book of Nicodemus, is a good book. What's next?
Someone says, is it 2007 or 2008 now, based on the AD and Horad death thing?
Okay. You would look at it for, what it's 8 years off, right?
About 7, 8 years
About
off.
7 years off. So you're looking at, if it's 2013, 2014 now, then you're looking at about 2007. Okay, between 2007 and 2006. All right. So it was about a 7-year period in which is off. So you're looking at 2007 it is. What's the next one here?
Someone says, Thawada, great lesson, Baraka Thumb, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Bless you too. And that's Yvonne. Shalom, sister. Go ahead.
Someone says, I'm going to be in London this fall. How do I get in touch with the GOCC?
Okay, good question. We have Brother Gaja and now Elder Gaja who is operating, and they're actually going back and forth into London now, and we have a gathering there that's being led through the brethren there. And if you are in London and in the England area or in the Europe area, God is having a big celebration this year through the Spirit of the Most High there. I think they're going to be in Birmingham this year. So if you want to become a part of that in England, the Gathering of Christ Church, UK and Europe, just send an email to gatheringas1@aol.com with your number, and we will get with you so that you can be a part of this celebration in a couple of weeks. All right, what's the next one here?
Someone says, how do we operate bringing it in? I assume that's referring to the new year.
Okay, it's to be treated like a Sabbath. What's next? And of course, you can have food and lawful food, and just a convocation, just bringing in the year as a Sabbath.
Someone says, I was thinking of learning capoeira.
Capoeira martial arts. Go ahead.
Would this be considered as a form of Buddhism?
If you want to learn different moves and artistry of fighting for defense, what I've learned is, as long as you don't go into the religious part of things, if you want to just go into the physical part of things in which you're just learning different moves and all that in defense, then you can do so, but you have to be careful. I found out that those that do deal with the worships of it and start going into the ideology of the Buddhist teachings, it brings something in them in which they look to use certain things to harm people. So if you want to learn something for self-defense, there's no sin against that. But again, be forewarned, because you have to be careful if your teacher might be well up into the satanic Buddhist religion. So you must be careful with that part of it.
Also with that, I think there was a form of martial arts that was created by our people in South America during slavery. So I'm not sure if that has any link with the Asian martial arts.
Exactly. When you look at the Han Dynasty, when our people went over into Asia, we were doing the arts, but when you look in Jasher, we were jumping over walls and all that. But that was through the Spirit of the Most High. That was worshiping the Most High, and the Most High would actually give us certain powers. The Asians took that another way. They started worshiping Satan with all that. Okay, so I'm not saying we fought as a people. We were the greatest warriors on earth. So the fighting part of defense, we understand that. But again, be careful when it comes to the Buddhist teachings. It's satanic on a high level. All right, what's the next question?
Someone says, can you please expound the statement that you made about the Tower of Babel being destroyed in 1 year?
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know if I didn't say that the Tower of Babel was destroyed in 1 year. I said that the tower was so high that it took 1 year for one brick to get from the base of the tower to the top. So they continually send bricks up, but in order for those bricks to make it to the top, it took 1 year. That's how tall the tower was. Okay. What's the next one?
Someone says, was Bruce Lee an Israelite from the house of Han? Was Joan of Arc a witch? I
don't know if Bruce Lee was from the house of Han. I know people out there that's saying this because he was bad in arts, one of the best, that he must have been an Israelite. I'm not one to claim that someone is an Israelite based on them being recognized and having some gifts. There's gifts in all nations. All right, so I haven't researched Bruce Lee's line. Neither am I inclined to figure out what family he came from. All right, that have no spiritual significance to us whatsoever. Whether or not Joan of Arc was a witch, she was definitely a witch. And I know a lot of people like to promote that and look at that as some deep scenario in which Joan of Arc is recognized as a witch, when there's more witches operating now than during Joan of Arc's time. They're your school teachers, they're your principals, they're operating as pagans all amongst our society. All right, so Joan of Arc is just, at that time, she was living in infamy because our people were able to recognize and go against such actions during the Dark Ages. All right, but Again, there's more witches now. There's Joan of Arcs everywhere now. All right, what's the next question here?
Someone says, so the pineal gland isn't spiritual. Please explain.
The pineal gland isn't spiritual. All right. Our spirit is from the Most High, and this is our temple. Of course, the spirit resides in our quarters and in our minds. But there's nothing that the scriptures speak of doing something to open up our pineal gland. Usually when you hear that type of philosophy, that links into satanic Buddhist teaching. That's what you would call Kabbalah, the tree of good and evil type of knowledge. When the Most High warned Adam and Eve against a certain thing, and then Satan introduced it and says, well, if you eat of this fruit, I can make one wise. Now, that is what you would call the opening of the pineal gland. Now, Adam and Eve, even before this, was open in connection with the Most High. Okay? So they didn't need that particular type of fruit to become spiritual concerning their understanding of the Most High. Satan was teaching them things that they were not supposed to know and understand because it meant sin and death. So just because someone can open up their minds to knowledge doesn't mean it's the spiritual knowledge that we should look to in our time to connect with the Most High. So anyone speaking about that pineal gland garbage, and I'm going to say it straight up, it's garbage. Christ didn't tell us anything about the pineal gland. Christ says, I'm the way, the truth, the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. I'm not doing nothing to exercise or to improve my connection with my pineal gland. Okay? That is not what gives us understanding of the Most High. So no, it is not spiritual. Leave it alone. It's an introduction to the tree of good and evil. It's Kabbalah, satanic teaching. And when anyone get a scripture from Christ to show us that we should be dealing with our pineal gland, I'll be more than open to hear it. All right, but we've done some research on this, and usually people that's talking about their pineal gland are those that get high, so they can open themselves up to some of the demons we've mentioned earlier. What's next?
Someone says they built a Buddha temple in the hood of North Philly, and this is a growing trend for our people in Philly, from witchcraft to Buddha.
Exactly. They're now targeting us, the people of God, the children of Israel. Once they get us included in all this, then they've accomplished the one world order. You have to realize the one world order is getting our people involved with what the heathens been doing for years. They've always been heathens and dealing with satanic worships and worship. We were different. So the New World Order is really encompassing God's people as a whole into their religion and into their one world religion. And it's almost accomplished. We're almost there. What's next?
Someone says, is it okay to go to the clubs after learning truth?
The answer to that is absolutely not. All right. If you want to go someplace where people are more laid back and there's not all this chambering and all those things, it's okay. You have to go to a place that you will know that you wouldn't mind being caught there or being seen there if Christ returned. Okay? Now, there's gatherings that people come together with all the time in which there's a little wine and there's nice music. There's it's a family-oriented type of gathering. Okay. But we all know what goes down in these satanic Bacchus clubs, per se. All right? So, no. What's next?
Someone says, what about the blood moon? They say it's to happen on Passover this year.
Let's go to Joel 2 and 30 and 31, and let's see if that's saying there's a blood moon that's going to happen on Passover this year. Go to Joel 2 and 30 and 31.
This is Joel 2 Joel 2 and 30, 30. And I will show wonders
I
in
will
the
show
heavens
wonders in the heavens
and in earth,
and in earth,
blood and fire and pillars of smoke.
blood and fires and pillars of smoke.
The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come.
Okay. Now I know what this is saying. All right. But that don't have nothing to do with something happening on the Passover this year. Joel 2 and 30 and 31 have nothing to do with the Passover. Now, if you look at on YouTube where these people claim that some great event happened on every what they would call blood moon, then you have to look at the fact that all the events they're talking about were actually pre-packaged, planned events and false flags that the government did. Had nothing to do with whether. So they know when certain things are coming in, and they plan ritualistic sacrifice and things of that nature on those particular days. Okay, so it have nothing to do with prophecy. It have everything to do with them looking to the stars, and when they know something is coming, they do something and plan something well before it happens, and have it actually go down on that particular day as a sacrifice to their gods. All right, so if they're planning to do another false flag on their satanic Passover that's coming, then okay, that's what they're planning. But that have nothing to do with the scripture. The scripture didn't say that there's going to be blood moons on the Passover of this day. So they actually look to the stars to do sacrifices on certain days. When it's talking about the moon being turned to blood, it's actually speaking of the wars and all that goes down before the coming of Christ. All right, it have nothing to do with what they are bringing forth with it. Okay, and the Bible tells us that we're not supposed to be dismayed at the signs of heaven, because the heathen are dismayed at them. We're not even supposed to be looking at that. They do those things and set up things to happen on those particular days, not because it organically will happen when there's a red moon. They plan things knowing that the moon is going to be this way or that way, and they plan events on purpose. All right, so who knows? They could be planning something, but they're going to be planting false flags and doing things to mankind until Christ returns. I can't look at what they're doing. We must look at what the Most High is doing and fall under his hedge. Okay, what's next?
Someone says, what nation was Joseph, Israel's son?
Joseph was an Israelite. Jacob was his father. Now, what nation did he rule at a young age? He ruled Egypt. But of course, Joseph was an Israelite. He was Israel's son. What's next?
I think they may be asking, like, what is he today as far as his
Oh,
nationality?
what nation was Joseph?
Mm-hmm.
What nation is he today? Well, what tribe he is the Baliqua Taino Indians, the Puerto Ricans, and the Cubans, Manasseh. Those are the two tribes that came out of Joseph. Okay.
Someone says, are they starting a cataclysmic event with the disappearance of the Malaysian jet?
Good question. The Malaysian jet false flag. Let me speak of that. They're actually setting up a false flag to attack their next enemy. Okay? They flew a plane in a certain area. They turned off its transmonitor on purpose. They got rid of the plane, and they're going to blame it on some guys. And the next people they blame it on is going to be the same people that they're looking to attack next. Just a false flag. That's all it is. Every hijack, and even the hijack of the Olympics that happened in the 1970s, they found, and it's now come to find, it was a false flag. So it's something they're doing to attack a new enemy. Don't be surprised if they try to link this into Iran and look as a pretext to go against Iran. That's all it is. It was no hijacking. It was all America doing something to go to war against another country. So that's all that is. The other thing is, don't look at Russia invading Ukraine. That's not Russia invading Ukraine. That's the United States invading Ukraine. All right. They're going to come off and try to speak against Russia and all that. Russia TV is America. America is being controlled by the same forces that Russia is being controlled by. It's just a left-right paradigm. The plus minus paradigm. They're working together, but to make you believe in our society that they're enemies. They're working one and the same. It's just, and a lot of you don't know this, but there's a lot of our people, mainly the tribe of Dan, as gypsies that are living in Russia, that are actually being enslaved and have been enslaved for years and being destroyed by the Edomite Ashkenazis in that particular area. So usually it's an intrusion against the elect that's scattered in respective areas. What's next here?
Someone says, this lesson seriously puts the religions into perspective. Satan trying to make a road leading to hell.
No doubt about it.
Someone says, you mentioned gods of earthly realm demons. Are they different from the devils or dead Nephilim spirits?
Exactly. They're a division in spirits itself. So absolutely. You have fallen angels that are bound into the heavenly realms, which are called Gregorians. And usually they're the ones that have taught mankind the technology you see, in which they're flying through the air with these what they call quote unquote unidentified flying objects with these demons. They're called Gregorians. So there's different levels. Then you have demons. So there's hierarchy and there's lower spirits that are controlled by the hierarchy. So the answer to that is absolutely yes. What's the next question? Because we're winding down here.
Someone says, I attended a Christian college named Geneva College, and even there it was a requirement to successfully complete the course called Humanities, which is Greek mythology, culture, architecture course.
Exactly. So even in Christian theologian and Christian seminary, they move you with these ideologies of different societies. This is Babylonian. What's next?
Someone says, can you do a teaching on the cherubims?
Yes, I can do a teaching on the cherubims.
The last one I see is, what was the name of the book, of the Diva book and Buddhism book?
Okay, the information we got this from. All right. You can go on Buddhist gods and goddesses. Buddhist gods and goddesses. You can go on just Google that and they show you all the divas and all that, what they do. And their source, the source is from the Religions of the World, which is a very reputable source. And we got the Wikipedia. I mean, we have encyclopedia, but the Wikipedia have a lot of what the encyclopedia have. So you type in the origin of Buddhism and the gods of Buddhism in the encyclopedia, and it will give you the sources for that. All right, let's see. Let's see what else we have here on the side. Skill pill. What that says?
Someone says, I do agree with Exodus 3:14. He said, I am, but how can I answer a person when he give
3 and 12.
3 and 12, where the Most High said, I will be.
Okay, let's see where the Most High says, I will be. Go to Exodus 3. And 12.
This is Exodus 3 and 12.
See, the best way to answer is not to repeat what someone say, but to go to the scripture and see if it's saying what's coming out of someone's mouth. Because I hear this all the time when it's clearly in the Hebrew where it says Ahia was given to Moses. Beyond any shadow of a doubt, he did not say Yahweh or Jehovah at all when he answered Moses. But I hear this so-called double talk when people come and say, well, yeah, he said that, but he meant this. When the Most High is not the author of confusion. And on top of that, you see, this is how you know that you cannot argue this point at all. The Canaanite gods were calling on Yahweh before Moses left out of Egypt. They were calling on a tetragrammaton. Look up yourself, Yahweh, the Canaanite God. That means the inscription of Yahweh in Jehovah was being worshipped as Satan by the Canaanites before Moses was born. Explain that. So don't deal with the double talk people try to give you concerning the Most High's name. If he said, my name is Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah, that's the end of the conversation. Unless you can show me in scripture, and this is how I talk to people when they come with that. Unless you can show me in the scriptures where the Most High told him that Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah, but my name, you should call me this. Unless you show me that in the scriptures, I will stick with what the Most High gave Moses. Read.
Exodus 3:12. And he said, certainly I will be with thee.
I will be with thee. He didn't say my name is I will be. See that? And see, you have to recognize how people, if they have to go through these great lengths to try to jump over what the Most High said, they must be controlled by some type of spirit. The Most High never said in Exodus 3:12 that I will be. Read it again.
It says, certainly I will be with thee.
I will be with you, Moses.
And this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve the Most High upon this mountain.
Now I'm going to ask you, lawyer, you're reading the same Bible I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Most High say I will be in Exodus 3:12?
Yeah.
He says I will be with you.
Mm-hmm.
But did he say I will be? That my name is I will be?
La'ah.
The Most High didn't say my name is I will be there. So when you ask a question, and that's skill pill, you must really examine what someone have told you and what you perceive to be as right. When you look at the same scripture that I see, and the Most High never told Moses that my name is I will be. He says, I will be with you, Moses. Now let's go to the next verse and let's get the name.
13. And Moses said unto the Most High, behold, when I come to the children of Israel,
when I come to the children of Israel,
and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name?
So when they shall say to me, what is thy name? Because what? Moses didn't know what God was dealing with him at that time. He knew he was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and that God that called him out of Egypt. But he didn't know what name to present back to his people. Why? Because there were many gods and many names in Egypt. And guess what? Yahweh was even recognized in Egypt before Moses left Egypt. Yah was the moon god in Egypt. So obviously the Most High was going to give him a different name compared to the gods that he knew in Egypt. Read.
What is his name? What shall I say unto them?
What shall I say unto them?
And the Most High said unto Moses, I am that I am.
I am that I am. In Hebrew, what is that, lawyer?
Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah.
Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah. Get yourself a Hebrew concordance. Get yourself a Hebrew Torah and Tanakh. It's right in your face where it says Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah, which the Jewish people mispronounce Iye, Ashar, Iye. So they even know what the Most High said. Read it again.
And the Most High said unto Moses, I am that I am.
I am that I am. Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah. Read.
Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel.
This is what you say to the children of Israel, Moses.
I am.
Ahiah
have sent me unto you.
Have sent me unto you. So what did Moses say when they asked him, well, what is this God's name? He said, Ahiah have sent me unto you. So I don't have to dance around with it. If the Most High told Moses his name was I am, and that was the answer to the direct question that Moses posed to the Most High, I don't have to dance around and say, well, it really means that. You understand? Because the Most High didn't Moses did not ask the Most High, what did his name mean? He asked them, what is the name shall I go and tell the people? He said, Ahiah, tell them Ahiah sent you. Period. Now, those who want to disagree, I have nothing to do with that. Israel didn't listen to the Most High and profaned his name and disrespected his name in the past, and that's why we fell, and they will continue to. There was Israelites who didn't listen to the God who delivered us out of Egypt before, and they will reject the same God today. Period. And like I said before, any of you out there, y'all shouldn't even be arguing that point anymore. Let them be. Let them be. What's the next question?
This is, I mentioned to Elder Ricard via email about a blog that I did along with
Vessel. I got you. Vessel, the sister got enduretogether.com, and I told her that we're going to work to integrate that, because what we're going to do is we will have a network page, what you would call a Gathering of Christ yellow pages within our gatheringofchrist.org. So if you got businesses or whatever the case is, we're going to all be able to take advantage of the gifts we have amongst our people and prefer them and those that are in the church, opposed to taking our finances to others and building them. We're going to help build our brothers and sisters within. So yeah, that's something that's coming, and I'm going to it's going to be a Gathering of Christ Church network. So if you need things done, electric, building, gardening, whatever the case is, there's going to be someone within a network that we can help each other, opposed to going to the outside. That's going to be on the site soon.
So this says I wasn't disseminating on the name. I was asking if it was an injection. The last part of my question was cut off.
Well, whether or not what was an injection? You talking about Yahweh?
I think that comes from the question earlier, and the person asked the question about Isaiah 42:8.
Yeah.
Where it says the Lord, it says Yahweh opposed to Ahiah.
Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, that was an injection. You were correct. I'm almost done. All right. Okay, we're getting ready for our feast, so hold 1 second here. One moment. Go ahead. The water. All right. What's that?
Someone says, laugh out loud, you guys are going to be defending this topic, the name of the Most High, until kingdom come. Bless you, may the Most High bless you.
Well, that's what he said. And if we don't uphold the name in heaven that was given out of heaven to this earth, then who's going to uphold it? Everyone is calling on the name that was given to them by the serpent people, by the synagogue of Satan. So if we don't uphold the testimony of Christ and the truth concerning the Most High and hallow his name in the earth, then who else is going to do it? So we're not going to defend it. We're going to exalt it. That's what we are doing. We will exalt the name of the Most High because he created everything and he's not being recognized. All his credit is going to Satan. And when you call on Yahweh and the God of the Tetragrammaton, and I don't care if it was written 100,000 times, and you can see it 100,000 times in the Hebrew in the Bible. I know that the Masoretes put their pen in there. And I know that our people, when we began to fall, we were inscribing Satan's name in our record and giving all credit to him. And that is why we fell as a people. So I don't care how many times you can see it in the Hebrew and in the Paleo and all that. I go by what the Most High said, period. And we exalt his name. Last question. Can a woman teach the word? If so, What circumstances? Absolutely, a woman can teach the word. And in what circumstances? You teach your children. You show those that are around you. When it says he suffered not a woman to teach, there was women trying to take an authority position in the church when hands were not laid on them to do so. Women were to back the deacons and elders. But yes, you have Priscilla and Aquila who operated together as husband and wife, and they taught many. You understand? They would be out passing out things and talking to the people while Paul was setting up churches. So a woman can teach what she knows. She's supposed to. Women are effective teachers. But you are not to do it from an authority position over the pulpit or over a church. But let me tell you, if you know something, you bring it forth. You're not to hide it. You're not supposed to hide it. You're not supposed to be in an authority or in a church position. But by all means, teach the word of the Most High. So when it says he suffered not a woman to teach, that's women taking authority over the Most High's people. All right, one last one. According to Job 30 and 30, Job is black. Okay. All right. Let's read Job 30 and 30. And mind you, keep in mind that I taught Job 30 and 30 for over 20 years. 20 years ago. And I got more of these. If you want more of these scriptures on Job, I got more than Job 30 and 30 to show you that people are not rightly dividing the word of truth. Let's see if it's speaking of Job's skin color and how he was born. Read.
Job 30 and 30.
Read.
My skin is black upon me.
My skin is black upon me.
And my bones are burnt with heat.
My bones are burnt with heat. Now, when you look at it, it's showing Job's color based on the infirmity that came upon him. All right. So when it says I'm black and my bones is burned with heat, he wasn't born black and his bones burning with heat. It's speaking of the disease in which he had a scab and sores from the top of his head down to his feet. So when you precept this, it's not speaking of how Job naturally came into the earth and was born from a woman. It's speaking of his infirmity. Okay? Someone asked, Elder, have you seen the cosmos? It keeps speaking of the cosmic calendar. Is the cosmic calendar in relation of pagan days? I haven't looked into that in specific. I will look into it, but I know that there's only one calendar that we should deal with from the heavens. And that's the calendar of days of Jubilees according to Sabbaths. 364 days, 52 Sabbaths in a year makes a complete cycle in the heaven and on earth. All right. With that, we're going to say bless you. Have a happy new year. And for those in the academy that will be there next week, we'll see you there. We're going to start off with the Hebrew, then the news. All right. With that, I'm going to say shalom. I hope you got some understanding on the Buddhist deception that have crept up amongst our people. And I'm trying to figure out, when is it going to come a time where our people will take the truth of what they believe in and set up what they have in China, or set up what they have in Pakistan, or set up what they have in other areas? How is it that we are the only people where other people have to come and set up a mosque or a temple amongst us? That's actually evidence of a lost race. Okay, a Buddhist temple over here, a church over there, this over there, or that over there. Why? Because they know we're lost. We're not setting up nothing to give them spiritually, because we are the children of Israel. We are a cursed people without truth, without knowledge, and therefore all nations have preyed upon our ignorance. All right? Dale made a statement here. It says, I am that I am has become a problem when the gathering of Christ showed it in the Hebrew. Yeah, that's when it became a problem. Now all of a sudden, I am that I am is not his name. Well, that's what he told Moses. And I see people try to flip it, turn it around. Let's look at the scripture under it. Let's get the scripture over it. So I can show you what he meant. Take words out of context and all that, just to ignore what the Most High said from his own mouth. So if you don't want, listen, if you will ignore what the Most High said from his own mouth on that, what else will you just ignore and throw to the side? With that, I'm going to say shalom. And you have a happy new year. We're going to enjoy the feast tonight, and may the Most High be with you. Before we leave,